everybody, I hope you are well. Now today's video was taken from the recent summer camp and we asked a number of instructors from a variety of martial arts if they could show us something that was integral to their art that they think would be useful from an Aikido point of view. In our organisation we like to cross-train and we're always looking for things to add to our Budo and make ourselves more flexible and adaptable. Today we've got Christian from Jiujitsu and he's showing us a series of single leg shoots or pickups if you like. Goes through some of the mechanics behind it, but he also looks at some of the defences as well. So very, very useful. I know the modern Aikido idea is that we always stay on our feet, we never go to the ground. But if you look at some of the old documented photographs of O-Sensei, there's many photos of him on the floor applying chokes and basically showing his Daitaru roots. So I don't think there's anything wrong really in us experimenting and adding to what we've already got in our art. I hope this is useful for some of you. If it is, smash the like, consider subscribing, and of course, enjoy the video.
A bit risky. Shall we all agree this is a little bit risky, right? Going down to the ground like this, it's a very risky undertaking, even with my hands in here. If he's got some time, he can create space. I'm a lot slower in this position than he will be if he's got some time available to him. Okay. So, for this particular one over here, we're both going to have facing front feet. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab his leg a little bit higher this time. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it a little bit over here. Okay? So, if I was just doing this casually, it would be something like this. Okay? But we're going to try and think about what's going to happen next. So therefore what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrug my shoulders a little bit. I'm going to keep my head up. I'm going to look straight ahead of him as I do it. I know where my hands and my legs are going to be. And it'll become obvious why I want to do this. Okay? I'm going to drop into this position over here. Grab a hold of this and break the microphone. And hold on to his leg in this position right here. Okay? So, in this position, right here. Shrug my shoulders a little bit. Keep my head up. Drop. Grab a hold and lift that leg. I'm using both my arms to lift that leg at this moment. Okay? So this is just a single pickup position right here on the leg. Okay? Key point. You want to keep this up. You want to keep your head up. You want to drop. So you're using your levels. You want to get a hold of it and you want to lift it. Okay? So I'm facing you like this at the end rather than something like this. He's already feeling what he wants to do to my neck here. Okay? At this point over here, I've got the beginning, but if I move him this way, he hops. If I move him this way, he hops. That's annoying, right? I move him this way, he hops. I move him this way, he hops. I want to stop him from hopping so much. Okay? This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to squat and I'm going to reposition. Now I've got a different control. Look at his face. All right? At this point over here, he still wants to hop. So I'm going to put a little bit of weight in his leg and step forward. And all of a sudden he wants to fall down. Okay, so let's go through that again. We'll do it slowly. Hop away. Okay, in this position here. Here's my drop. There. Squat. Reposition. Okay, so at this point here, I've got a nice good control of his leg here. Okay, but he hops. Hops, 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 hops. Now I could run really fast to make him fall over, but I'm a bit lazy like that. So I'm just putting my body into his leg. Oh, look, he feels like there's some weight going into that. I'm transferring the weight onto that foot so it stops him from hopping like we did in the last session. Yeah. Drop, grab, squat, reposition. Weight down and turn across. What we're finding as he's getting into this position over here, if he was reaching down and grabbing it over here and then going in here, cool, that's what we were finding. Okay, so why do we not want to do that? Okay, so here we go. So he's come in here and he's grabbed this leg. At this point, I'm fighting him. If he now wants to reach down and do this, I'm actually going to drive through him here and I'm just going to control him and stop him because I've got the power of my leg against his back in this position. He's pretty bad. I can hurt him in this position. So the reason we want to add the squat is because then all of a sudden we're using a nice squat, strong posture, control to be able to make the same thing happen. So he comes in here, boom, right, I'm still fighting, it doesn't matter. His power of his legs are using that to try and get that in here. And then he puts some weight on my back leg, boom, he steps in front of me, boom, and there we go. He could even step in front of me just a little bit more. So try that again. So here we go, boom, boom, there it is. And yep, and there it is, boom. And that makes me. We had the advantage of being like this. What if we're like this? Okay, so I'm like this. If I now step in, he knows that it's happening and he wants to do something. He's going to do some sort of an action against me, or he's going to keep the spacing or do something like that. At this point, if I'm grabbing this over here, it's not a very strong way to be able to make this happen, right? So what we want to do if we're in this position is we want to give him something else. We want to base his back foot to make it more difficult for him to deal with the attack that I'm doing. And the best part of this is to use kind of like a fencing technique, right? And it's a fend. So boom. So if I boom in this direction over here and just do a little bit of a fend in here, it pushes them in this direction. And naturally when somebody gets a push, what do they want to do? They kind of want to brace themselves and they want to maybe go back at it, right? So if we're sitting here doing minding our own business, boom, right? He's in this position, which then gives me what I'm looking for out here. It buys me the time. So from this position over here, there's my fend. All right, so there's my fend. I can step, grab, squat, load, and do everything else the same as we did before. They're bringing their head in close when they're doing this. Okay, so in this position over here. This is very risky, okay, because we have something called a guillotine available from this position. So I can take my arm here and I can wrap it around here, or I can take my arm here and try and wrap it around here if I wanted to, but this is the easier access in here. So in this position over here, if he now tries to lift the leg, etc., I'm actually starting to strangle him in this position. If we do it the way that I said, which is just to slightly put a little bit on your shoulders and keep your eyes forward at the same time as he's lifting, right? I actually don't have the ability to do this. And in trying, I actually make it better for you. You can feel it, right? As I'm trying to do that. Yeah? So that's why we want to try and keep that posture. Now, in wrestling, there's no strangles, okay? So therefore, they will use a really big movement and they will really drive the person and their weight divisions and all that kind of stuff is involved, right? But when you're fighting, the other person could be all these different kinds of sizes, and most people that attack you are probably going to be bigger and stronger than you anyway, right? Because there's not too many Smurfs that go out and attack giants, you know? So in this position, right, we're staying up nice and high, and if we're trying to make this happen, even if I'm taller and bigger, I can't defend that, or I can't attack that guillotine from that position. So what do I do? So the first defense against this is running away, okay? Now, you'd say that seems a little bit strange when he's holding onto my leg, okay? And that's actually true. So if he was to transition and grab that ankle now, running away is no longer an option. But in the attack, running away still becomes an option. So this is what it's going to be. In this position, I'm going to turn away. So as he's lifting, I'm going to turn away and I'm going to turn and I'm going to pull, okay? And we've got to do that as he starts the action. So here we go, yeah, cool. There, okay? So you can feel it, right? It's very difficult to hold on to that at that position. I'm turning into this position. So I'm sure there's an Aikido stance that does this. Boom. And I'm pulling this back. And I'm knee kicking behind me to get that power. Yep, come in, grab. And pull it back this way. And it's very difficult for him to hold me in this direction. Because legs are strong. And that's driving away. You've got to be careful if he follows you. All right, so boom, there, I've got to turn, okay? So don't stay like this and go, oh, there's a wall. Sorry, don't stay like this. You got to turn back and face. One thing that you can do is surprise him a little bit if he goes in this boom and turn around this way and try and go around the corner. Okay? But the basics of it is turn your body and pull it back and turn and face. Now, that, of course, that escape by the running away as she's coming in here, she's getting a hold of this, I'm turning. There's a lot of anticipation to be able to make that happen and be able to pull that out, okay? Chances are that if I let them get a hold of my leg like this, they're probably going to the stage where they're going to be able to squat and get that ankle, okay? We're getting into this position. And I've got to start thinking about either controlling what happens next if she gets the shoot on me, right? Or stopping the shoot from this position. So the first thing I normally want to do in this position is take this outside arm and I'm going to drive it over the top of her shoulder right here and grab a hold of myself as best as I can, okay? At this point, all of a sudden, I'm attacking her posture right there. Stand up straight. Do you want to? Not really, eh? Cool. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move forward in this direction, and you're probably going to want to follow me. Right there. Okay? So by locking that shoulder in place, right, either she gives up the shoot or she falls forward. Right? Because my body's going to go forward. You can feel that shoulder's being pulled forward. Now I'm doing this very gently because we don't want to hurt each other. But if you're doing this for real, you need to put your weight into that. And if their shoulder gets sore, it's too bad for them, right? They're the ones who are touching your leg, like the sacred leg. Right, so here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And she's got to here. Very quickly, get this arm in and try and get a hold of whatever I can at this point. My body weight goes forward, right? At this point here, I'm aiming for that point of the triangle there, pushing my body weight down. She wants to come down with me, right? And I don't mind fighting on the ground, but I've not been tipped over. I've not landed on my head. I've not landed on the glass window behind me, right? I've controlled, and I'm right in front, and I can do bad things to her now.